Ruben Amorim's 3-4-3 formation at Sporting dominated Liga Portugal, and it's vital that he signs new players for his tactics to transform Manchester United. So, in this video, I'm going to be looking at 5 players that Amorim will replace at Manchester United. I hate goodbyes, but I love shopping. So we'll also talk about the signings that he'll need to make his Manchester United tactics work, and why these changes are crucial in building his dream Man United lineup. So this is the sort of best 11 that I think Man United could put out right this second if everyone was absolutely fit and firing. Now, the Mount debate, we'll get to that in time. You could play Rashford, you could play Ahmad, you could play several different players. Now, transfer one. This has been a problem position for Manchester United for some time now. And I was surprised when they didn't sign a left-back in the summer. But it may actually be a good thing that they didn't, because the likelihood would have been that they would have signed a left-back suited to playing in a back four. And we know by now that Amorim plays with wing-backs, right? Now, Luke Shaw, if he was fit all the time, that would be wonderful, but he just rarely is, right? And we also know that he likes those wing-backs to be more attack-focused than defensively focused. So there needs to be a change there. So the first player that I think Amorim will remove will be Luke Shaw. And we all know about his injuries, but this stat still shocked me, and it emphasises the problem with Luke Shaw. Because since signing for Manchester United in 2014, Luke Shaw has played 191 Premier League games. However, Bruno Fernandes has played 168 Premier League matches despite signing 6 years after Luke Shaw. And he's likely to overtake Luke Shaw this season. For your starting left back, it's just not good enough. So if we take Luke Shaw out, we've got ourselves a left wing back position that needs sorting out. So let's sort it out. So who have we gone for? Well, let me explain. This is Nuno Santos' heat map this season for Sporting. So what you can see is that he spent most of his time in the opposition's half, and he kept the width for Amorim's team. This is absolutely crucial when it comes to the wing-backs, providing that width for the team. But he also averaged 1.3 key passes per game, meaning that attacking contribution is obviously going to be important as well. On the flip side of this, he only recovered 2.1 balls per game. Not from the stands, I meant in terms of winning the ball back, meaning that defensive quality is not actually that high on the agenda. Well, certainly not as high as offensive ability. And believe it or not, this was quite a hard position to scout due to the demands of the role. But we found a great option. Now, listen, ideally you go and you get Grimaldo for this role. But he's 29. And importantly, he's got a contract till 2027. So we're ducking him. So instead, we found a promising 22-year-old who actually plays in a system with wing-backs. He's in the top 3% for progressive carries and ranks in the top 15% for take-ons. Whenever I've seen him play for Poland, he's so direct. He always starts wide, and whilst also being able to operate as a right wing-back as well, which offers so many more options, he doesn't actually play as much on that right-hand side as he should do, maybe for Roma, because he is naturally right-footed. And the fact that his contract expires in 2025, that's absolutely crucial here. I think this is the exact type of signing that Ineos will be all over. And that man is Nikola Zalewski. Nikola Zalewski on that left-hand side, providing that width. And crucially, enjoying this channel of the pitch. Let me show you. This channel here, providing that width and only coming into that half space because he is naturally right-footed if you have that underlapping run. But the great thing about Zalewski here is because he is right-footed, but he's very, very two-footed. He puts in beautiful crosses with his left foot as well. He's happy to go on the outside as well, which is going to be crucial to keeping that width. Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark. What is Surfshark? Well, Surfshark is a VPN. That's a virtual private network that keeps your online data safe by encrypting all of the data between the device and the internet. This is crucial when using public Wi-Fi to ensure that you are safe and you're keeping those pesky cyber criminals at bay. Now, with a Surfshark VPN, you can change your real location to any location around the world. That's over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries. And by going to surfshark.com/Allcott, you can get yourself a great deal with Surfshark's VPN. With it getting darker and colder, that means that you can stay in and access new content. You can explore the Netflix libraries of Japan, USA, Australia, several countries. But if you're on holiday, you often can't watch your favourite sporting event. But with Surfshark, you can change your IP address back to the UK and tuck into TNT, Sky Sports, BBC iPlayer, the lot. Masking your IP address is essential in becoming private online. A VPN ensures your city, country, and download history isn't linked to your identity. And Surfshark's clean web feature blocks ads, phishing attempts, tracking, and malware, allowing you to surf the web safely. And the final thing that sets Surfshark apart and provides even more value is that you can use your Surfshark's VPN on unlimited devices. So if you currently don't have a VPN, especially with Christmas on its way, it just makes sense to have one to watch what you want, wherever you want to, safely. And with my exclusive link of surfshark.com/Allcott, ALLCOTT, you can get yourself 4 extra months of Surfshark. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk at all. So why not give Surfshark a go? That's surfshark.com/Allcott, ALLCOTT. Check it out. Transfer 2. So this next one may come as a bit of a surprise to some, whilst making total sense to others. It's centre-back. Now, I know that Man United bought 2 centre-backs in the summer, and that was needed. It was crucial. But with 3 centre-backs, I think it means that their 3 best centre-backs will all be playing at some time, but not all the time. And you need cover. And say, in terms of getting these players and making them fit, someone like Yoro, I think in time, you would want to become that central centre-back. But for the time being, with him being so young, you know, he's probably adaptable enough to go and play on that right-hand side. And this, of course, is the squad at the moment. But having those cover options is really important. And the cover options at the moment, they are not great. They are not mobile. There is not the athleticism that is required to play there in Amorim's system. So, for that reason, Harry Maguire, in my opinion, will be moved on. But who will come in? Well, the criteria for this signing focused on 2 things: athleticism and technical ability. I also tried to find a centre-back that could fit in centrally, the left or the right, because a backup centre-back has to have that flexibility. I think that's absolutely crucial here. And some people are not certain. I was chatting to Liez. He's not sure about Martins on the left-hand side in terms of his athleticism. I think on the ball, he's absolutely good enough in terms of spraying those passes. But has he got the athleticism to go out into these areas and to deal with defending in transition with a lot of open space? So that's a question mark. On the right hand side, look, he's just a kid. He's just a young pup. He's yeast. He's an enzyme. Is an enzyme the right word? You know what I'm talking about. So the right hand side, I think, is actually even more impossible. Now, I have just described to you Joe Gomez, but don't worry, Man United fans, it's not him. I've not gone for him, but it is someone who I think would fit in on that right hand side pretty quickly. But this player has actually caught the eye a lot in the Champions League the other day when he scored the most outrageous goal that I've seen this year, an absolute thunder bastard from 40 yards. And listen to this. He was initially signed as a right back, but is now playing as a centre back in a back 4 system. He ranks in the top 9% for key passes from centre-backs across Europe. He has a 93.6% passing accuracy for his medium-range passes, which is important in terms of cutting through the lines. And his passes into the final third, he's averaging 3.93. And that's while playing in a back 4. So let's take Yoro out for just a second. I know he's the future, I understand that. But not signing Wilfried Singo, I think, would be a huge mistake from AS Monaco, because I guarantee he's going to be moving on this summer. He's only 23, and in defensive transition, he's absolutely superb. On the ball, he's solid, and he's really, really positive with his runs as well. And so when you're playing as that right-sided centre-back in a 3, as someone who's played as a right-back, he's got that positivity to drive with the ball if he wants to, or play those passes as you've seen from his stats with his mid-range passing. And what I love, he's got nice big shoulders and he'll bump people out the way. So when there is that ball into the channel and he's got to win his one-on-one duel, he's going to go wallop. He'd be a cracking signing for Manchester United in Amorim's system. Next is the left attacking midfield position. Now, hear me out. You're probably going to get maybe a little bit angry here, but this position is a really important one. And this is similar to the left wing back position because it requires a very specific profile to fill it. Now at Sporting, Amorim had Pedro Gonçalves. And look, this guy, we just take a second? This guy is an absolute joy to watch. And whilst he doesn't have that much pace, what he does have is speed of thought. And Iniesta had a great quote actually recently. He said that the higher the tempo of the game, the more speed there is in the game, the less your physical abilities actually matter. And it's more about the ability to make decisions in tight spaces. Iniesta said that, and he wouldn't lie, would he? And he was quite good, I think. So having someone with that kind of mindset, I think, would be great. Gonçalves is a very mobile player, which I think is key to Amorim. And despite being an undoubtedly great player, I'm not sure Bruno Fernandes has the exact same qualities that Amorim wants on reflection. And I can see him starting there for now, and I think he could do just fine. He'll create. That's what he does. But I think I can see him getting phased out by this time next year. And not to forget that he's not getting any younger himself, and he also has a contract until 2027. And in terms of assets that they could make some real dough on, Manchester United, and when it comes to financial fair play, that's crucial, right? Bruno Fernandes is probably, the strongest asset because of that contract, even though he's getting to the back end of his 20s. And so I think there needs to be a moving on from Bruno Fernandes, and there's been such an over-reliance of him. So I think he may get phased out. But nevertheless, we found someone that profiles very similar to Gonçalves, because at 26, I think it's time for that big move to come his way. He's played 121 matches in the Premier League, so the experience is there. And based on what we saw last season and the positions he picks up and the performances that he's put in on top of that, I think it makes a lot of sense. So despite not picking up that many assists this season in a struggling team, the underlying numbers for this man are very strong. 4.67 shot creating actions per 90, could easily go to 5.56, playing in a more attacking side. So, for this reason, I think Man United should be making a move for, and you knew it was coming, Eberechi Eze. He's fantastic in these areas. He would work really well. He has a humility in his passing range as well. He's able to find his attackers brilliantly and have a great relationship with them as well. I think it would be one of the smartest things that Amorim could do. Next up, we have a position that I gave a lot of thought to, and whether they actually even needed someone or not. But then, when looking at Sporting's squad, it became very clear to me that Man United may need a player in this position. But as per the rules of the video, we need to get rid of someone first. So I think a central midfielder is... Look, in central midfield for Man United, it's a very mixed bag, isn't it? Look, you've got Eriksen, who he's a diligent soldier. And look, he can play in this position. Has he got the legs? I know he gets around the pitch, but has he got the pace? He could play possibly in these two positions as well. But again, I'm not sure you can get the total attacking output that you would want from him. Casemiro, more of an Ugarte in that too. He's going to be more defensive. And obviously he's on that bumper contract as well. And I think you need that, you need it there. But it is a mixed bag. I'm just not sure about it. There's some promise from the youngsters coming through as well. Collier. But when it comes to those older players, such as Casemiro and Eriksen at the back, they are at the end of their careers realistically. So either one of these could go. But I think because we're going to go for an 8 rather than a 6, I think it would be Eriksen that would naturally move on. Although Casemiro wouldn't be the starter for me either. And whilst I think that Mainu would be a good fit for the more attacking player in that double pivot, I can't see other players in the squad who profile similarly to Mainu. At Sporting, Amorim had both Morita and Bragança, who are both capable of playing that role seamlessly. And if you want to know a bit more about that role, make sure you go check out our video of how Manchester United will set up under Amorim. But having a backup, a rotational option, I think is absolutely essential. Now, I was close to going for Fabian Ruiz for this signing, but another one, I think they need to be smarter with how they recruit. And he'll be 29, and then Man United will only need to replace him in a couple of years again down the road. So I then started thinking about Quintin Timber, who is Jurrien's brother. And I doubt that Man United will buy from the Eredivisie solely because of what happened with Anthony and, just there's maybe a little bit of a stigma there, which isn't a reason not to buy him, but I think it will be a reason that they will kind of see in terms of the optics of their recruitment moving forward. So I settled on another player, a player who ranks amazingly in some key midfield metrics. The progressive passes per 90, 7.74, particularly stood out for me, and it lends itself to the way that Amorim wants to play. And he was actually key in Leverkusen's title-winning side last season. But this season, he's been in and out of the team since the arrival of Alex Garcia. But the positive here for Man United is that Alonso's 3 at the back system was very similar to the double pivot of Amorim's. So it makes this next signing of Ezequiel Palacios, and I'll just take Mainu out just for a second here, a very, very smart move. Combative, makes tackles, makes passes, has an eye for a goal as well, and always what I love about him, plays the ball forwards. He plays the ball forwards all the time. Simply and effectively, he would be a great option for Man United. Finally, we have the striker position. Now, I know what you're thinking. Man United have literally signed a striker a couple of months ago in Xerxes. However, I'm struggling with him. I'm struggling with him in this system, playing as a central striker. Yes, Gyökeres does get involved in build-up at times, but I just don't think he's the profile that he's going to be looking for. Amorim likes physicality. He likes Højlund. He will do. And he wants to utilise the pace that someone like Højlund has to run those channels, to create space for those 210s. But look, you need backups, don't you? Of course you do. And this player that I've picked, I think, fits the bill. He used to be a wide player, but since moving to a central position for Eintracht Frankfurt, he's been absolutely sensational. This season, he scored 9 goals from only 8 matches. And what I like about him is that despite being 6 foot, he's incredibly quick, incredibly agile, and he runs the channels brilliantly. He's also created 6 big chances this season, averaging 2.3 key passes per game. So he has that creativity that Amorim loved from Gyökeres. So when we're talking about a backup, and again, age matters, I think, here. At 25 years old, he'd be a great signing in terms of having a long-lasting value at the club. So the last signing that we're putting forward is Omar Mamouche. Let me know what you think about my transfers, and if you want to know more about Amorim's system, click right here.